On a windy Sunday morning, motor vessel Stellamare approached Nicholson Dock in Detroit. 2 weeks earlier, this specialized heavy lift vessel of Jumbo Shipping loaded a 220 tons reactor in Gijon, Spain, which had to be shipped across the Atlantic Ocean via the St. Lawrence Seaway to Detroit. It was Fluor Daniel of Houston who awarded Jumbo the contract to bring the new reactor to its final destination, Marathon Oil Company, approximately 2 miles away from Nicholson Dock. To bring the reactor to the refinery, the Stellamare was maneuvered alongside a heavy lift barge. On deck of the barge, a 16-axle-line platform trailer was prepared, on which the reactor had to be loaded with the ship's derricks working in tandem. To increase ship stability during this unloading operation, a stabilizer pontoon was fitted at port side of the vessel. 2 heavy-duty slings of the forward derrick were connected to the tailing point of the reactor, and at the same time the slings of the forward part of the reactor were connected to the aft derrick. Both derricks, with a combined lifting power of 360 tons, had ample capacity to lift the reactor from the lower hold and place her on the trailer on board of the barge. After final check, we are ready to start lifting. The captain is in charge of the operation, with a cargo superintendent assisting. Slowly, the 28-meter long reactor was lifted from the lower hold. When the load is lifted high enough, both derricks swing the reactor slowly to starboard side. During this operation, a man on the bridge controls the heel of the ship and keeps it leveled by ballasting the anti-heeling tanks at the opposite side. Final adjustments are made so that the center of gravity of the load is exactly above the center of the platform trailer on deck of the barge. With the help of some chain tackles, we secure the load. As the steel transport cells were more than 70 meters apart, we had to place additional wooden blocks in the center of the reactor to ensure extra support on the trailer. When the reactor was lowered down on the trailer, additional wooden cribbing was placed underneath the ends of each steel transport saddle. The reactor was safely placed on the trailer at an outreach of 7.5 meters over starboard side of the Stellamare. While the reactor was lashed and secured, we pulled the barge away from the Stellamare so that the vessel could berth alongside the quay to unload the remaining general cargo, which was transported by trailer directly to Marathon Oil. The barge was necessary to carry this reactor 2 miles upriver, as the Stellamare could not unload this heavy piece at the Marathon asphalt dock itself. Late in the afternoon, the unloading operation was completed and barge moored alongside the wharf until early next morning. When it was still dark, we towed the barge from Nicholson to the asphalt dock a few miles upriver. The barging and land transport to Marathon Oil was also under Jumbo's responsibility and carried out by its Canadian subcontractor Etarco. To meet the saddle distance of the reactor, the originally planned 12-axle-line trailer was replaced by a larger one with 16 axle lines. This trailer, with a net payload of 420 metric tons, had sufficient carrying capacity, but stability of the trailer combination had to be watched carefully. Now the most critical part of the operation started, the rolling off from the barge onto the Marathon asphalt dock. When the trailer combination moved forward, the barge list changed and had to be compensated by emptying the forward tanks with mobile ballast pumps. The hydraulic axle compensation system ensures that each individual axle has the same load on deck of the barge. Unevenness in the road, as well as high differences due to the thickness of the roro ramp, are automatically compensated. Within half an hour, the reactor was rolled ashore and safe on solid ground. While we were waiting for the local police and utility trucks, the roro ramps were removed and the barge moored alongside the berth. Ballast tanks were pumped empty, and a few hours later the barge left to its home base.
When you're coming back down this way, the street that you turn up, it says Coolidge at that end. Okay. No, it's
Around 10 o'clock on the morning of the 29th of August, the last part of this long journey started. The transport over 1 mile from the docks to the refinery site. A detailed survey carried out a few months earlier proved that this route was the best one, despite a lot of electrical and telephone wires as well as traffic lights which crossed the road. We were well prepared. A whole army of utility trucks assisted us in lifting the electrical wires, so that the 6-meter 20 high transport combination could pass without severe delays. The heavy-duty Kenworth tractor pulled the 16-axle line trailer around the first corner. Maximum steering angle was given by the operator at the rear end of the trailer and made all 128 tires turn in an ideal turning circle. At the same time, level of the trailer was checked continuously and kept horizontal by means of the trailer's built-in hydraulic suspension system. The axles of these multi-wheeled platform trailers are suspended by individual hydraulic cylinders which are connected with each other and grouped into a 3- or 4-point suspension system. By means of a diesel-driven power pack, these cylinders can be activated to raise or lower the trailer bed at a maximum stroke of 60 centimeters or keep it at a horizontal level. Some wires were so low and tight that they had to be disconnected completely and reinstalled after the transport combination had passed. To move these large loads on public roads requires a lot of planning and coordination with the local authorities before the actual job starts. This work proved to be invaluable, and without delays the reactor slowly moved on to the next set of wires.
We bought it in Moscow very cheap.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we got it a good deal.
No, it's not a missile. Some people really wondered what we were transporting. One utility truck was equipped with a flexible plastic stick, which simulated the exact height of the transport combination. In this way we could accurately measure the height of overhanging wires and whether they had to be raised or not. A spirit level at the rear end of the trailer indicated the level of the trailer itself.
Marathon
way.
Slowly, the transport combination, supported by its 128 tires, moves along the route to the refinery. Due to the size of the reactor, almost all heavy transport was diverted to other roads. Detroit is a city of heavy industry, such as steelworks and car factories, and consequently a lot of long and heavy lorries occupy the road. Our army of utility trucks came to the last and most difficult crossing. A combination of electrical wires, traffic lights and telephone wires had to be raised at the same time to enable the transport combination to pass. Etarco, Jumbo subcontractor for this project, had everything prepared well in advance. This last complicated crossing was passed without significant delays, and only a few hundred yards had to be completed before the reactor arrived at the refinery entrance gate. Just by coincidence, the tailing crane arrived at the job site on the same time. The old reactor, which will be replaced soon by this new one, could already be spotted at its elevated foundation in the refinery.